Hi, this is Steve and me with an introduction to MonetaPro. And before I begin, let me go back. The actual history of commerce and portability. When the world started in commerce, we were an agrarian society and we worked on the world of barter. I've got chickens, you've got milk, let's trade. And the problem became when there was an inequality of trade. If you want chickens and I don't want your milk, we have an issue and there's no portability. The moneta seashells were actually the first forms of portable currency. That's where the word money comes from. As the world evolved, we needed portability and currency, and the moneta seashells provided that. Well, let me introduce you now to MonetaPro. We're a closed-loop exchange platform for global corporate barter. MonetaPro.io. The market. Is there a market for this? Believe it or not, it's a $17 trillion market of non-cash trading worldwide. Massive market, and people aren't always familiar with it, but 53 or 73% of all Fortune 500 companies trade commodities. Cars for computers, machinery, airlines, media, energy. They're trading assets, and the average trade's over $1 million. But this trade doesn't just occur magically. It's a manual process. It's off books. In order for Ford to trade $10 million worth of somebody, they have to call around. They have to find somebody that wants the cars. They have to negotiate equal value. They have to in turn want that same item back. So they have to consummate the trade, track, report it, and then they have to start it again for each transaction. It's a very manual, cumbersome process. You might ask yourself, well, if it's so difficult, why do companies trade? Why don't they just sell for cash? Tremendous financial leverage. Here's what I mean. Let's take the example of Ford. Well, number one, if you're trading Ford cars, you're not discounting them. Rather than taking those models and marking them down 20%, selling them, paying taxes, you actually find a partner, you trade at full retail. If that partner in turn returns or gives you something back, it actually under IRS regulations is a 1099-B. It's a tax-free transaction. So not only do you get the book of full revenue, you receive items back, you get it tax-free, you acquired those items without spending cash. If it's a $2, $5, $10, $20, $40 million transaction, that cash remains on your balance sheet, earning interest in your sweep account, operating budgets. There's all kinds of cash flow. And also asset management. You're not discounting items and flooding the market and killing your distribution channel. So tremendous leverage, but what's the solution? How do we move things forward? Well, much like in the world of barter initially, a one-to-one transaction is complicated. What's needed? Portability, the ability to do a one-to-many transaction. And that's what we've created. The portability occurs with what we call a GBUC, a General Business Usage Credit. In our example, Ford now can list items for sale, basically, or for trade. Instead of having to negotiate back, they can transfer the items or sell them to a computer company. In return, receive $10 million worth of purchasing credits. They could then be used to buy items they actually want. Tires, batteries, airlines, shipping, things that the company already has in their supply chain and already trades with. We're creating a system for one-to-many within a closed-loop payment. The trick of it really is the GBUC, the General Business Usage Credit, the buck. It equals $1. It's not a blockchain credit. Think of it like an internal ledger credit, immediate financial settlement, no volatility, and one GBUC equals $1. And the credit stays in the system. Not much different if you think about it. Imagine if you were selling computers on Amazon, and when you sold the item, rather than getting cash back in your bank account and paying taxes on it, you just left the money in Amazon in a credit. That's a store credit. It equals $1. It can't be stolen. There's no volatility. It can be used globally. We've done the same thing. A General Business Usage Credit works within the system. Is there a need for it? Proof of market. Well, let's look at this. Here's an IBM white paper talking about the revolution where blockchain can be a game changer managing multinational intercompany transactions. But there's problems. There's no external auditors. There's no current tracking. The trades are all done off books. And the market, Exxon does $500 billion a year. GE is estimated at 250. Those are just two of hundreds of companies that do it. Is it a problem? PwC, 1,200-page white paper on international transfer pricing and intercompany transfer. Deloitte, why companies trip all over themselves. Too many moving parts, lack of transparency, no accuracy. KPMG, manual processes tie up the resources of intercompany trade. Massive opportunity. Three main problems identified by the independents. Number one, no automation. The trades are all done manually. Two, no proof of ownership. In our example, if Ford actually gave those computers or gave those cars away, they're not selling them, they're technically giving them away off books. Well, you need proof of ownership that you actually gave those cars away, and you need an audit trail of what those items were. So when the auditors come in for compliance and Sarbanes-Oxley, you actually can prove what you did. So we solve all three problems. MonetaPro Exchange, kind of like an eBay or an Amazon, but we're a closed loop payment system. And for the blockchain, we do use a blockchain very lightly. We use a private blockchain internally to write the invoicing to the blockchain for A, proof of transfer, and two, proof of audit, meaning you can prove you transferred those items out, you can show which items you transferred, and actually provide compliance issues for your auditors to keep the company in compliance and save money on the back end. We're an e-commerce model with a transaction fee built in. Gives us the ability to collect fees electronically. Management team in place. Not going to go super deep into it. 25-year experience technologist. Jay Sato ran Sony marketing, a couple billion-dollar brands he launched. Robert Jacobson, we actually have a director of TR, token relations. Rick Prendergast built the American Express sales force. Camden does a lot of work internationally. Mark Savoy, former CEO of BARTER Card. Again, we brought in a traditional barter company guy, even though we're going enterprise. Igor Barash on the COO operations built a company called Cyber Defender from his garage to NASDAQ. Some great advisors coming out of First Data, MasterCard, Razorfish, global food experts, Kodak, sort of around the world on that. All of this is available online with more details. And then systems, we're actually complete. We're undergoing beta testing now on the software. A lot of time and effort and development in it. It's not quite ready, but we're getting there. Large history of existing companies that have an existing history of trading. This is important. We're not starting from the ground up. We're going after large multinational corporations like the Caterpillars, the Exxons, the Omnicoms, the hotels. These companies already have a history of trading with existing companies that they know and trust. There's just not an automated solution to do it. And we brought in an experienced management team and advisors specifically to go after those large global targeted industries.